Hey guys, so we are definitely navigating some lack of clarity about some things today, feeling sort of in the dark about things, not having a clear view, and not really knowing which way to go, which choice to make. But I guess it does make sense considering that we are moving into the energy of Mars opposing Neptune tomorrow on Thursday. So kind of fits right into that. But we have other aspects today that are supporting this whole theme. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today is Wednesday, September 1st, 2021. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. And yeah, we are in this week of Black Moon energetics. We started the week off with Black Moon energy. We are ending the week with Black Moon energy. Today, the moon is no longer in Gemini, so we are not technically in Black Moon energy today. But the themes of the Black Moon in Gemini are still being indicated, and our only main aspect that we have going on today is a square between the moon and Mercury. And so again, this is actually sort of bringing up these themes of the Black Moon in Gemini, a lack of an inability for the emotions and the mind to come together, some type of conflict coming up between the way that we're feeling and the way that we're thinking. And then we have some Sabian symbols today that are emphasizing these themes as well. So let's get into it. Let's talk all about what we have going on today. There's not a whole lot, but it really is just talking about sort of clouded vision, not knowing which way to go, trying to come out of the shadows, but just this sense of confusion that we are all dealing with. So first and foremost, let's talk about the main aspect that we have going on today. Again, that is a square from the moon in early Cancer to Mercury currently in early Libra. And generally with the moon in square to Mercury, this is a need to communicate our emotions and what we need with the moon in Cancer, what we need to really nurture ourselves, but creating some type of conflict with any type of social balance with Mercury in Libra that we are trying to maintain. It's also like emotions with the moon in Cancer upsetting the peace and balance and harmony in relationships and partnerships through communicating those emotions. You know, with Mercury in Libra, the sign of partnerships and relationships, there could be some emotions that are coming up today that you're struggling with because you know that you need to express them, but if you say anything about them, it's likely to cause a conflict or just upset the balance and the harmony and the peace that you're really looking for in your relationships or in your social groups or in your conversation and communication generally. So that's sort of how this energetic is operating as well. Also, with the moon and square to Mercury, this can kind of be like feelings overwhelming our rational intellect, our logic, and our rational mind. The moon, our emotions, our internal atmosphere, what's going on inside of us, and in a square, creating conflict and tension with Mercury, our thought, the logical mind, what we're thinking, what we're saying, what we're learning. These things sort of, not on the same page today. And also Mercury in square to the moon, or the moon in square to Mercury. With this, you guys, especially considering we are in this energy of Mars moving to oppose Neptune tomorrow, we're going to want to avoid dealing with controversy by changing our views whenever somebody disagrees with them. This can be another indication, another way the energy kind of affects us when we have a moon in square to Mercury, sort of like not wanting to cause this disharmony, this disruption, this imbalance in relationships through our emotions and perspectives. So having more of a willingness to sort of change our views if they conflict with somebody else's ideas. And with the energy that's going on right now, with the pending Neptune Mars opposition that's coming in, this is definitely something that we're going to want to look out for, especially with all of this Black Moon energy being activated, because with the Black Moon being activated, this is humanity's collective shadow side, and it brings up fears and it brings up subconscious issues that we keep under the surface that we don't like to look at. And when this is going on, it's just like we can't, it makes us much more available to be controlled through our fears. When we're aligning with our fears, it makes us much less powerful generally. And so we really need to be careful with this Mercury square to the moon today, or the moon squaring Mercury, this Mars-Neptune opposition in the context of this black moon energetic. We really need to be careful that we are not just compromising, our intuition and our gut instincts in order to like appease the group, or to just go with the flow, or to maintain the status quo. We really don't want to turn our back right now on our internal guidance just in order to sort of like quell our fears or try to cling to some type of grounding or security, because the way that the energetics are unfolding right now, we are in just a time of massive upheaval and massive change, because all of the energy is trying to push us back into our original truth, back into our original authenticity. And this week, with these energetics in effect, it can be more difficult for us to maintain that stronghold in like the root of ourself, which is what really started to emerge and come out last week. And so we really want to be careful with this, that we are not just allowing ourselves to be kind of swept along with the whims in order to maintain that peace and maintain that balance. If it is not in alignment with our intuition, our internal compass, and our common sense at this point in time, we really don't want our fears to be motivating us into taking any type of action, or to not take any type of action as well. So this is sort of what's going on. And I mean, the emotion, the moon in square to Mercury, this makes things kind of confusing as it is, because we're having these feelings, but we feel like we can't express them, or we can't express them logically, or our logical mind is just so overwhelmed by these emotions that we can't think clearly. There's definitely like emotions and the logical mind in some type of conflict with this. And again, with these black moon energetics also being triggered, we're really just primed to be sort of controlled through our fears this week. So we really want to be aware of that and be conscious of that, and not allow that to be our motivating and driving like factors in what's making us make decisions this week. Okay. And it's also really interesting because, like I said, I mean, emotions, logic, in a conflict with each other, things are unclear, things are confusing. And then we have the Sabian symbols coming in today. The sun is at 10 degrees of Virgo, the earth is at 10 degrees of Pisces. And for those of you who are new to my channel or who aren't aware of the Sabian symbols, what they are is a group of symbols that represents each and every one of the 360 degrees of the zodiac. And whenever a planet is at a specific point, discharging a specific degree in the zodiac, we can look to the symbol, and it really just gives us more information about the underlying purpose, the reason, the rationale for that activation that is taking place. And so I always like to read the Sabians because it just helps us get a better understanding of why this aspect is happening in the context of the unfolding astrological story that is carrying us through time. So I feel like the Sabian symbols are very important, and I feel like they just give us some extra information, and I always like to include them in my analysis of the energetics. And today, with the sun at 10 degrees of Virgo, this Sabian symbol is two heads looking out and behind the shadows. So again, this is very reminiscent, this degree, two heads looking out and behind the shadows, is very similar and very reminiscent of the black moon in Gemini. First of all, the black moon always works in polarities, regardless of what sign it's in. Second of all, it's in the sign of Gemini, the sign of the dual heads, the twins, the polarities. And it's looking out. The Sabian symbol describes it as two heads looking out and beyond the shadows. And the black moon rules our shadow side. So I feel like out of all of the degrees in the entire zodiac, this specific degree correlates the most closely with the black moon in Gemini. And again, this fits perfectly into the story because this whole week is very black moon themed. Remember, we started Monday and Tuesday. We had the moon in Gemini with the black moon. We had the moon in Gemini conjuncting the black moon for the T-square over the weekend that we had with the sun, the north and the south node. And this weekend, Friday, actually, the north node, the direction, the path, the evolving way forward for our collective souls is going to be coming into a conjunction with the black moon. And this is really going to be triggering humanity's collective shadow side and fears about the direction of the future. And with the sun at this degree today, two heads, Gemini, looking out and beyond the shadows, the black moon, it's like we're trying to find our way out of the darkness, but we don't know which way to go. It's not clear. We don't know which path to take. We don't know which one is the right answer. And there's just this confusion. And then the degree of the earth today, 10 degrees of Pisces, just to take this up another notch, an aviator in the clouds. So we're navigating, but we can't see where we're going. We have no clear vision. We have clouded vision. So it's like the positioning of the sun and the earth today are really describing the collective state of humanity as we are in this very black moon themed energy this week and headed towards this black moon north node conjunction. Fears regarding, the direction of the future. And just, clouded vision, lack of mental clarity. It's two heads, right? And I mean, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which rules the mind. And feeling in the dark about things, feeling like we've been in the shadow, and just not knowing which way to go. And again, this could not be a more perfect description of the black moon in Gemini for the conjunction with the north node that we have coming this week. So I find this very interesting, but we are looking out and we are trying to find the way, but there's an aviator in the clouds. Nothing is clear. We can't see through the fog. And it's just so interesting because Neptune rules clouds, Neptune rules fog. Mars is coming into an opposition with Neptune tomorrow, right before this black moon north node conjunction. So there is just confusion. There is just a lack of clarity. We can't see where we're going, and it's scaring us. It's bringing up fears and insecurities about what's going to happen. And this is very apparent in the story that the energies are telling this week, in the messaging that's coming through, in the descriptors of the overall unfolding of how this is going. But there is also, though, via the Sabian symbols today, they are also describing a sense of people embracing what I like to call the woo, or like the unseen, unacknowledged, more spiritual, metaphysical components of reality, the invisible driving forces of reality that we don't pay attention to, but actually play a very integral role in the way that things unfold in our dimension. There is a sense of people starting to align with this on a frequency level and sort of being guided by it and coming together, maybe without even being aware of it, but it's still like this underlying driving force. And this is because we have Mercury today at 4 degrees of Libra, and Mercury is an important planet right now because Mercury is ruling Gemini and Mercury is ruling Virgo. And right now we have Mars coming to the opposition with Neptune. That is also lack of clarity and taking action in Virgo, ruled by Mercury. We have the sun right now in Virgo, ruled by Mercury, and we have the black moon in Gemini, ruled by Mercury. So what Mercury is doing, what Mercury is talking about right now is important in understanding what's going on with these energies. And Mercury at 4 degrees of Libra today is around a campfire. A group of young people sit in spiritual communion. So there are people that are aligning spiritually on these new frequencies together. And this, I feel like, even though they might not realize it, it's still happening. And we also have Chiron today, who is retrograding, moving back to 12 degrees of Aries. Chiron has been at 13 degrees of Aries for the longest time. Chiron is the wounded healer teacher archetype. This is all about where we experience like very deep and painful and traumatic wounding so that we can actually learn how to heal and grow from those situations and transcend them and master weaknesses within ourselves in order to really become the conductor of our own reality in correspondence with God and universe, and then go on and show other people how to overcome these same issues and thrive through them. And through this process individually over time, it's how humanity collectively heals and from their trauma and masters the experience of life. And that is the direction that we're really all going as we head into the age of Aquarius. It's a very integral part of it. And Chiron is moving back to 12 degrees of Aries today. And this degree is a flock of wild geese flying in formation. And so again with this, it's like in formation and they're flying, they're going through the air, they're connected on a frequency-based level, and they're in the same formation. And this really kind of corresponds to me with the degree of Mercury today, the group of young people around the campfire and spiritual communion. It's like there is this undercurrent that is rising up, and this is actually what I talked about in my report over the weekend, the emerging the emerging invisible forces that are sort of seeping up and like infiltrating and permeating the collective consciousness right now. There's an undercurrent rising up, and the spiritual frequencies are beginning to move people in the same direction. And it's through the air signs, which are emblematic of, Gemini, where the black moon is, Libra, where Venus and Mercury are, and Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, where we're going, the destination. So, Mercury rules knowledge, Chiron rules our experience. And so it's like knowledge through experience is actually pushing this. It's like some people are coming to a point where they're beginning to understand based on their experience, and this might even be a subconscious thing that people aren't even conscious really of. But there is definitely people that are aligning on the same frequency and starting to move together in the same trajectory through the air towards this Aquarian theme, towards this age of Aquarius, which, like I said, is the destination, the universal blueprint, and where we are all ultimately headed right now, despite the roadblocks that we may encounter along the way. And another thing that I found like just a little bit interesting, the Sabian symbol, the flock of wild geese flying in formation. In formation, that's two words, but if you put it together, it's information. And Mercury's the ruler of information, always. And so, that just the way that the Sabians are symbolically being represented today, I feel like, again, it's kind of joining these two themes, talking about the knowledge that we've gained, the experience that we've gained, linking people together on a frequency basis, and actually starting to move them in the same direction towards the air archetype, the age of Aquarius, whether or not they're even consciously aware of it. So I found that kind of significant to note with the energetics today as well. The next thing I want to say is we have the black moon. Yeah, of course, black moon's got to be doing something in the midst of all of this, right? We have the black moon moving degrees to 6 degrees of Gemini today. I'm actually kind of relieved about this because the 5 degrees of Gemini, I'm glad that the black moon is not going to be at 5 degrees of Gemini. That degree, what was it? A radical magazine or publication calling for action displays a sensational front page. I'm actually glad that this will not be the energetic the black moon is discharging for the conjunction of the black moon and the north node, and also for the opposition of Neptune and the black moon. We kind of dodged a bullet on that. I think that is definitely a good thing. But the black moon today is moving to 6 degrees of Gemini. And that Sabian symbol, that degree, is workmen drilling for oil. So with the black moon moving here today, it's kind of giving us a little bit of heads up about what is going to be coming over the next week when we have the North Node and the black moon together, because they will be at that degree 6 Gemini. That's where the conjunction will be. So like this really, the way I see it, this is really about like going very deep, tapping deeply into our wells of inner resources, and like what is the true nature of what is deep within us that sustains our energy and our life force and our power, and cultivating our deep inner resources to help move us forward. I actually like this degree for the North Node Black Moon conjunction, even though, you know, it's a North Node Black Moon conjunction. But in terms of placements, in terms of degrees and the symbolic nature that's being expressed through the placements, I do think that this is a relatively positive degree, because it's really going to be triggering us and bringing up our issues, but also forcing us to really, really tap into our deep wells, our deep reserves, our deep resources, and cultivate those and figure out how we can use what really, truly sustains us deep inside to move forward. That's kind of what the lesson is going to be with the Black Moon and the North Node in conjunction at this degree. So I am kind of seeing this as ultimately a positive thing collectively for humanity, because it's really, really, really going to push us into like mining our deepest reservoirs of what truly gives us our creative power, our energy, what's really sustains our life force, and going very deep and tapping into it, drilling for oil, trying to find what's really truly deep inside that can fuel us going forward. So we have that going on as well. And of course, the last thing that I want to address today is this pending Mercury or Mars Neptune opposition that's going to be happening tomorrow. Again, you guys may already be feeling it. And this generally could be bringing some lower energy. And I will talk much more about this tomorrow. I'm not really going to get too into it today, but really ultimately it's about following our intuition, following our soul versus our ego, and also not acting on any type of influence that is sort of being pushed or projected to us that may be out of alignment with actual reality, that may be a fantasy or an illusion or a delusion, causing us to act, causing us to rush in and take some type of action that is based on something that is not true, essentially. So this is kind of what we're dealing with. And, you know, Neptune rules illusion and delusion and hypnosis and a lack of clarity. Mars in Virgo, this is like getting right down to things. This is like doing the hard, detailed, focused work. And Mars also rules, like I said, our ego. Neptune rules our soul. So we really are going to want to be tuning into our soul's wisdom and our spiritual connection and our intuition, and being guided by that, and not any type of projections that may be coming through to us, hyping up our ego or causing us to feel like we need to fall in line and be like Neptune and Pisces. It's like schools of fish, you know, all forming and swimming together like in this exact same way. That is not how we want to be acting as this energy unfolds. But with Neptune and Mars, again, this is a lack of clarity in taking action as well. So the theme today definitely is just this confusion, this lack of clarity, this like trying to see out and beyond the darkness, but not having the vision is clouded, not having a clear way, which way to go. An aviator in the clouds, we're trying to go through the air, but our vision is clouded. We can't cut through it. We can't see where we're going. And there's just this definite polarity, these two sides that are both trying to pull us in their direction. And with Mars, we just don't know which way to act. But then again, we do have this spiritual communion going on, and these wild geese flying in formation. They're not like domesticated geese. They're wild. They're inspired. They're, operating from their own instincts. And they're flying in this formation according to this frequency that is like the spiritual communion. So there is an underlying ability of people aligning spiritually on a frequency-based level and being able to tap into guidance from that. So that really is the advice with this, is to really do your best to tap into the spiritual frequencies that are coming through to you, and trying to navigate that way, considering it's cloudy and it's in shadow and we really just can't see what's going on at this point in time. So that's generally how the energies are looking today. And then, we have the moon squaring Neptune today as well, just to really emphasize that lack of clarity. Our emotions are doing one thing. It's like in a conflict with how we're actually thinking. And, with Mercury and Libra, we're sort of afraid to express our emotions because of what it might do to our relationships and to our partnerships, but also our logic being like consumed by these emotions as well. So just a lack of clarity and confusion going on today. But the answer is, like I just said, to navigate through the invisible frequencies, the invisible spiritual planes. What we can't see is actually the best guiding source right now. So interesting, right? But anyways, that's pretty much what I have to say to you guys today. We have Mars coming into the conjunction with Neptune tomorrow. That will last 2 days, Thursday and Friday. And then Friday we have the North Node lining up with the Black Moon. And then Monday we have the New Moon in Virgo. So we got a lot of big time energy going on headed into the end of the week. And definitely the way that we navigate, the way that we get through this is through following our own internal compass and doing our best to align to our higher selves and the spiritual frequencies that are coming through to us, and using that to be our clarity, since we really can't see in the clouds in the dark at this point. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It really helps my channel grow when you guys do that, and I really appreciate it. Leave me comments. If you have any astrology questions at all, leave them in the comment sections of my videos, and soon I'm going to be making a video answering all different types of astrology questions. I have a Facebook page and a Facebook group if you guys are interested in that as well. And definitely, you guys, come back with me tomorrow because, like I said, we have some big time energetics that we're moving into headed into the weekend. So I wish everyone a beautiful day. Don't be upset if you just don't know what to do right now. No one does. So wishing everybody the best, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye, guys.